Hello there. I am so glad that you could be here today. My name is Rich, the channel is called New Memphis, and this project was pure chaos. We're continuing on from last week, painting a lot of damaged Genestealer cult that I got a few months ago, which we repaired with a little bit of kit bashing. Last week we painted the Skullified and Neophyte hybrids. This week we're painting a fabulous Necromancer in velvet, along with his two, hench Tyranids. I hope you're excited because I've actually been looking forward to this project for a long time. I love these two adorable bloodthirsty monsters. Genestealer Familiars is what they're called. I don't know, I had to look that up. This one also has a Makwahuitl I took from a skink, which didn't actually need repairs, I just thought it was funny. Since I've gotten this question before, I'll also add that when putting these together, I used Tamiya plastic cement, which instead of filling gaps and hardening like regular glues, will actually chemically fuse the plastic bits together. If you're going to kit bash small objects like these, which I highly recommend, it's very fun. I recommend using Tamiya plastic cement, because regular super glue is just, well, it'll hold, but unless you want to be re-gluing it every time you take the model off the shelf, you're gonna want something stronger. But we are here for the painting, so remember to subscribe. Join the Patreon if you feel so inclined. You can also leave a like or a comment down below if you want to help promote this channel and stick it to that one YouTuber that you don't like. You know the one I'm talking about. It's almost as if more and more YouTube content is just being made about other YouTube content. I guess that's the cycle of social media folding in on itself. As dramatic debates about the issues at hand, rather than transitioning into actual solutions, become themselves dramatic debates about the dramatic debates of the issues at hand. The whole system devolving into petty infighting. The squabbling of so-called activists, wannabe influencers, and fucking teenagers who define themselves by a collection of isms which they ascribe to. A quick and easy replacement for genuine introspection and the actual interrogation of your own beliefs. It's good beer. I cannot wait to finally get started on this project. Since our Necromancer has this flowing robe that I definitely will get paint on, we'll start painting the base first. I'm going to breeze by this process since we've covered it before, but we're starting off by painting the tops of the bases with intermediate green, heavily thinned with water so as not to clog the base texture. And once that's had time to dry, we'll paint the sides of the bases with flat green. Rather than washing at the end, we're going to try out some underpainting. Let's grab our black wash, which I always keep on hand, and apply it to the recessed areas like the inside of the robes, armpits, and behind the head. Then we'll break out the white and reinforce the raised areas. Now, while I was in the middle of painting, I remembered that I had Carroburg Crimson lying around. I actually bought this years ago, and it was one of my favorite paints. I used it all over the Nighthaunt figures I was painting at the time, so I decided to use it here as well, just applying several coats to the model to really help it cover. And, oof, that did not turn out well. Well, that does happen sometimes. I actually thought about just painting over it and redoing the entire model, but given that it's already pretty clogged and a lot of the detail has already been lost, the last thing that this model needs is more paint. So, let's just make it work as best we can. I still think we can make something really beautiful out of this. I tried mixing our Carroburg Crimson with a few other colors that I had on hand. I really liked the combination of Carroburg Crimson with Screamer Pink, so I mixed them in about 60-40 proportions, and it gave us a beautiful glaze to do some highlights. I may come back and use this mix again, actually, because I really do like it. Next, we'll mix with dark vermilion to create a more rich red for further highlights. Still the same proportions. And then we'll do the same with Amaranth Red for the final touches. Finally, once that's dry, we can move on to washing the base with our very thin German Extra Dark Green. Taking notes from our Bronze Age skeletons we painted a few weeks ago, we'll paint the Necromancer's crown and the crown of the staff with bronze. Then we'll fill in the rest of the staff with intermediate green. Like the rest of the army, we'll paint the skull with cork brown, thinned with water and about 2 drops of matte medium for every 1 drop of paint. I also want to give these little guys a few highlights of white to help them stand out, and then a white dry brush afterward. Then we'll mix up a wash of black red and apply it to the skull as well as the skin. On to something a bit more bold, we'll paint the interior of this sash with returning friend of the channel, Vallejo Blue-Green. Then we'll mix up a wash of royal blue and apply that to the sash and the bronze areas. we'll also apply it to the Makwa Weedle. I initially painted these metal areas with Iron Warriors very early on, but I'm going to cover that with Vallejo Silver because it just needed to be brighter. And then we'll paint the eyes with Royal Purple. Our last step of the process will be adding a black wash to the eyes, and then to the entire body of the familiars. You're expecting me to say it's time for the big reveal. Boy, I wish I could say that. However, we had a slight problem. Mere seconds after I turned the camera off, the staff broke. Not even in the place where I kit bashed it. In one of the actual, solid pieces of plastic. Snapped right in half. Yes, it is heartbreaking, I know. And the contact point is so small, not even Tamiya plastic cement can save us. As much as I would love to throw the model out the damn window and be done with it, there are no mistakes, only opportunities. So let's take a look at this model, and let's see what we can do to save it. Well, I definitely can't just glue these back together, unless I want it snapping every time I take it off the shelf. So, tragically, I had to snip off the bottom section of the staff because there was no way I was going to be able to drill into it without it blowing out. I made the hole slightly larger than the body of the staff so it would slide in. And after scraping off a bit of the paint, I stuffed some of the removed material back into the hole, applied some of our Tamiya plastic cement to melt it all together, and then inserted the staff. I had to adjust it a few times to make sure it stayed at the right angle, but the result was stronger than before. And now, finally, we get to the big reveal shot. Only a few extra steps, a few extra headaches. It's okay. I love this hobby. It's so good to me. Like I said, this project was absolute chaos, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And the end result was pretty good. So, let's get on to it, and let's go into this with a positive attitude. I hope you enjoy. So, following on from last week, I want to talk about two things I liked about the model and one thing that I want to do better next time. Starting out, I think the crown of the staff turned out really, really well, especially considering how much damn work had to go into keeping the thing attached. I also think that the cloth turned out really, really well, even if I'd like it to be brighter. I thought about adding some extra highlights of red or orange, but to be perfectly honest, I was afraid it would just end up looking like a heat signature. As for what I want to do better, I definitely clogged up the feet of the familiars with too much basing material to the point that you can't even see the claws or feet. And that's an issue. I primed and based these a few months ago, so I'm not worried about it now. But it's definitely something I want to be watching out for in the future. And that's really all I have. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I hope your own projects are going absolutely amazing. I'm sure that they are. You're such a great painter. I have been Richard, or at least I hope so, and I will see you guys in the next one.